Welcome back, everyone, to Legacy of Pride, the tentative title we're going with for this campaign. In our last session, our lovely little group, motley crew of adventurers, if you will, had continued their journey eastwards along the coast of Chakakoth Isle, heading from Osprey Cove towards Iron Harbor. You were effectively in the employ of Elder Ordwy of Osprey Cove, but also sort of just heading this way for your own investigation, wanting to know more about the individual who had turned up on the Cove's beach, dead and seemingly having suffered from numerous unfortunate situations. Something that appeared as if their physical human body had been affected by rust, as well as poisoned bolt wounds in their back. You traveled eastwards and, you know, dealt with some nice, lovely aquatic aberrations, managing to not piss them off, and find a little bit of treasure that you yourselves could use, and finding a Darrow, a creature from the depths of the earth, the Darklands, that is known for coming above ground and kidnapping people to experiment as to why the sun does not burn most normal people. It burns Darrows pretty badly. But you killed her. You killed her pet centipedes, maybe? Not sure if they were pets or friends or what the situation was. They were working together. It doesn't matter. Unfortunately, didn't really get any information from them, but perhaps had some ideas as to their situation, what they were doing, and spent the rest of the day continuing on to Iron Harbor, where you eventually arrived and met a guard on the outskirts of town, someone similar to the corpse that had the holy symbol of Gorham hammered out of their armor and the holy symbol of Jar Tavan embossed in it instead, who took Elder Ordwy to a place they called Stoneholm to meet with Lord Ragnolf of Iron Harbor, and told you guys, you're not welcome in Stoneholm. Sorry. Go find another place to sleep for yourselves. Try Elsie's, which turns out to be the general store and bakery here in town. You were asked by Elder Ordwy just before she left to perhaps do some investigating on your own. She will ask her questions, see what's going on with Lord Ragnolf, and meet you guys in effectively 2 mornings from when you left her. And so you all made your way over to Elsie's. You met the titular Elsie, the owner of the store, a halfling woman who is herself an alchemist and baker, who answered a few of your basic questions and did allow you, after some payment and negotiating, to sleep on the floor of her shop tonight. And that is where we generally left off. Some of your initial questioning being done, her letting you know about Gold's Ruin outside of town, a series of 3 half-completed manors that are rumored to be haunted, but she knows an individual by the name of Daryl who currently lives there. There is the Thessalonian ship from Sin Idasiril that has been docked here for quite some time, and though they claim to be merchants, they have not visited Elsie's at all. There's always, of course, the dry dock, and any further additional investigations you guys would like to do, whether that's checking out the region, talking to some of the regular townsfolk, if they'll give you the time of day, of course, are all definite things that can be done. But first, I think it's probably pretty important that you all get some sleep, as it has been quite a long day, considering most of you awoke at around 3, 4 in the morning. due to the death outside. So it's been quite long. Most of you are probably feeling that exhaustion at this point and recognize that if you continue to push yourselves, you're going to be a bit too tired to be terribly effective come tomorrow. But
Agreed.
instead of just forcing you all to sleep, I do, of course, want to ask the question, is there anything else people would like to do before bedding down for the eve?
No.
How close to how late in the day is sunset here now?
Oh goodness gracious. That is a great question. I will say probably around 6:30 or so.
Okay. Because once as we get settled down, at some point after dark, Krakow's gonna not sneak out, but step out and look for some high place in the area. One of the buildings, if there's a balcony in this inn or a storefront or whatever, someplace he can get up kind of high and just observe.
Okay.
Just watch the goings on. See if people are coming out after dark. Maybe some guys are sneaking off the ship.
I will go ahead and amend my statement real quick to say sunset is probably more so around 8:30 at this time. It is early spring, and you guys are in the sort of just barely northwestern portion of the globe.
Okay.
So you certainly can spend some time doing that. It's
probably only about an hour.
Sure.
He just wants to kind of see if there's anything going on after dark in this sleepy little burg.
Absolutely. You can certainly do that. How about the rest of you?
Not much.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing
Can't think
for
of
me
anything either.
Nothing immediate for me.
All
Doing
right.
some work.
I'll put back the things I stole from Brand while he was away.
Give him his manacles back.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, if you're playing Oblivion, manacles are pretty valuable.
Are they?
Yeah, they're
I'll
one
Yeah,
of
they
the
are,
few-
actually.
one of the few non-armored hand items you can have. So for a mage,
Hilarious.
Oh,
Yeah.
you can enchant them.
yeah, exactly.
I see.
Man.
I always throw mine away. Anyway, continue.
Fantastic. Then, while most of you bed down, of course, taking some time to sleep, it's been quite a long day. Click clock, you begin to power down into your resting state at the very least. Krakow, you slip out of the shop.
And I'll let everybody know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sneak out, but
How diligent. Very nice.
As you go to leave, notably, the front door is locked.
oh,
Elsie did lock the door when she closed up shop for the day.
okay.
So
All right. Then there's no upstairs, no.
there is doors into the back rooms behind the actual storefront. But from your guesses and estimates, that is probably both Elsie's lab and her actual living space.
Okay.
Sure,
this
she seems to
is clearly
effectively
a
have her home
one-story
attached to
building?
this. Yes, most of the buildings here are one story.
Okay. Well, in that case, are there any windows we have access to, or are those all boarded up?
They're not boarded up, but most of the windows here that do exist, they are not like openable windows. They are simple. Actually, no, they would not be glass windows yet, so they would be opened. They do have an interior latch that you could pretty easily unlatch and open up.
Okay. Then I won't try to get fancy and go outside, but I will, open a couple of the windows, crack them so I can look out.
Sure.
And just kind of, periodically we'll go from one to the next, just looking out, see if there's anything of interest going on.
Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Alright. Perception with that blind.
Yes, always. And you do notably have low light vision, but not full dark vision. As night falls here, there really aren't any like lanterns or torches left on around town. You do, I will say, notice far western end of town. You can see through one of the windows. There is flickering torchlights from right around where you had met that guard. But other than
Right
that,
at the edge of town or over where that dock is or far
over at
away?
edge of town. Other than that, though, taking periodic glances for the windows before it becomes a bit too tiring for you to stay awake, nothing else happens. It is peaceful, it is quiet. You hear the lapping of the ocean against the beach. It is, for all intents and purposes, an idyllic, peaceful fishing village, as it appears at this time.
Okay.
For
Well,
now.
like I said, I won't stay up much more than maybe an hour
Yeah.
and just kind of get a feel for the pulse of things. And then I'll turn in.
Fantastic. Then, all of you, taking some time to head to sleep, are welcome to go ahead and take a long rest here.
I feel like I probably already did that. I don't think I have any daily resources actually yet.
I don't
so-
think you have. There's not very many of you that have daily resources, I don't believe. So none of you really need to hit the button unless you want to hit your daily prep button as well.
The sorcerer does have spell slots.
The sorcerer's got to hit the button.
Yes, he did use a
But-
couple of them.
No one else has much casting yet.
No,
Fantastic.
but I needle darted that Darrow,
Hey,
you little bastard.
as you all awaken early in the morning, having gotten a long night's rest and begin going about your morning preparations, whether that is things like polishing your armor, practicing and setting up some of your incantations for the day, whatever it is you do in the morning to actually ready yourself for the day ahead, the smell of fresh baking loaves begins to fill the general store around you guys. As it seems, Elsie is likely in the back room baking to start the day off.
Cool.
And
Does Click Clock have a sense of smell?
that's one of those weird
Yes.
things where the
It does, but like it
yeah.
probably smells like a. It doesn't smell like food. It smells like a thing,
sure.
like a oil or some shit. You know, like oh. I wonder what that smell is.
It is. I mean, we could technically argue that I believe. Yeah, you don't need to eat or drink, but you still technically need to breathe. That's more so just one of those weird rules things to make playing an automaton character balanced. So, by extension, theoretically, if you can breathe, you can smell things.
Wow.
Hey.
I don't know why I'm talking. This even matters.
Whoever built you was was someone of significant skill.
Yeah,
To
I
be able
guess
to
so.
build a construct with the ability to mimic breathing and smelling like a normal person.
How curious. All right. Well.
But as you guys are sort of finishing up your preparations for the morning, the back door opens. Elsie steps out carrying a tray full of bread. Slept well, did you?
Aye.
Yes.
Wonderful to hear.
Phenomenally.
Me go ahead and open up the door for you. You all are. I mean, do you need a place to sleep tonight as well, or are you going to be looking for somewhere else? Do you think?
It will depend on what our patron is doing. If she needs to stay another night, then we'll certainly plan for it. We'll let you know.
As is, your guys' the plan was made with Elder Orby to meet back up tomorrow morning.
Right.
I believe we'll need one more night before we leave.
Right. If it's not too much trouble.
No, I'll try and sweep the floors a little bit before tonight for you. Shouldn't be too much trouble for me. Any of you interested in breakfast?
I
Indeed.
thought you'd never ask.
Wonderful.
Well, I'll enjoy the ambience.
By all means. For those of you looking for a good meal, that'll be 4 copper apiece, please.
Very well.
What are we eating today?
I'm
You
sorry.
don't have to, Raglan.
What
Raglan,
are
if
we
you don't
eating?
want to eat,
You
Oh,
don't
what are we
have
eating?
to.
Yeah,
You do have
yeah,
rations,
me.
I
I'm
believe.
curious why.
Well, if my notes are correct, I believe food is like fuel for you folk. So perhaps you should eat.
very astute of you,
Yes.
whichever one you are.
Brannock doesn't.
Do you have
or
change
Raglan
for a
doesn't
gold
have-
piece?
I can certainly provide change for a gold piece, absolutely. For those of you who have not done it before, when you go to spend from your inventory, of course, when you subtract coinage, you can hit remove value, not specific type. And that will
Ooh.
remove how much you are trying to remove, even if you don't have the exact coinage to do so. But Elsie here does certainly have enough coinage in her shop that she can exchange for a gold piece, which is not something everyone would be able to do.
Hmm.
Indeed.
You only carry gold with you, Raglan?
Oh, I just got paid in gold.
Ah. I'll give her my 4 coppers.
Sure. She will end up setting most of the bread down, like in a bakery display, but then we'll go ahead and take some of the bread, cut it, and pull out some fresh fish and some fresh fruits as well, and to make small platters for each of you who are paying for a breakfast meal.
And this is gluten-free bread, right?
No, not in the slightest. This is as glutinous as
No.
it comes.
It's slathered
Yes,
with
they're turning red.
butter.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's honey for those who want it. But after she does go ahead and like unlock the front door as she provides some food to you guys, and you guys end up having the day ahead of you to do with as you would like.
Well, I suppose we should ask around, should we not?
Indeed.
What are we asking about?
Gather information. I would like to, at some point, go over and take a look at these unfinished mansions. They're a point of curiosity.
Hmm.
In a town
Yeah.
of this size, I wouldn't think something like that would have been left unoccupied for any great length of time.
I myself wouldn't mind investigating the boats from Zinedasseril. Could be pertinent, perhaps.
I'd be willing to accompany on that as well.
Do you guys wish to all explore and investigate things together, or do you wish to split up and cover more ground potentially?
I myself would like to see the ships. What about you, Raglan? And you, Brent?
I want to see the dock. Yeah.
Ships sound fine. I was just wondering, might be we stop by the stone home, they called it, either on the way there or some such. See what the news is on, well, our employer, I suppose.
All right.
They'll even
Stonehome, from what you gather, is this massive structure to the northeast. So you are definitely like right along the docks right now.
Yeah. So we can do like go docks and then go stone home after that.
Specifically, the dock the trireme is at, flying Cinedasril's colors, is this boat right here. That shit's right next door.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
Convenient.
All right.
Fantastic.
So when we turned in last night,
Mhm.
typically a boat would have some lights on and
Yeah.
crew moving around. Was there any activity?
Unfortunately, none of the
boat,
windows faced that direction because the sort of
Eh.
backside of the house, the backside of the building, is Elsie's lab and living space. She keeps the windows overlooking the water for her accommodations.
Well, how
so
nice for her.
your
Okay.
windows were really sort of facing into the town itself.
Okay. All right.
Well, if somebody else will have to ask the questions. Last time I visited Sinidasa building, they didn't much like discussing with an automaton such as myself.
I'll be happy to go gather information.
Yeah.
Seemed like a likable fellow.
As you guys make your way down, sort of out of Elsie's, you notice at this point of the morning, a lot of people are sort of getting up and about in town. There is a decent amount of activity on the other docks, you notice, as people go and grab their fishing boats and begin heading out onto the waters. You can even see out in the bay, there are a number of people who got a nice early start to the day and are already out there. But it does seem like the majority of inhabitants of the town, perhaps not everyone, but probably around 60% of people at least, do spend most of the day out on the waters. But as you make your way down this dock, which solely has this long ship on it, boat itself about 75 feet in length from what you're able to gather, with a green and yellow paint job and the flag of Sin Edasaril sort of flapping in that morning breeze. As you approach the ship, you do see a few people on there, currently milling about, going over some normal duties, moving a bit sluggishly.
Anything
Like,
unnatural?
yeah. Like
about it?
naturally sluggish or like early in the morning.
I will allow either recall knowledge or perception, your guys' choices.
I'll do a recall knowledge.
Oh,
I'll do some perception.
I'll perceive.
And this needs to be a blind GM roll?
Yes, always blind for
Or
perception.
private.
Blind.
Blind, yeah.
Private will make it so that you and the GM can see it. Blind makes it so that only the GM can see it.
Since
Fantastic. I think Brend, having been the most recently aboard a ship yourself, and Krakow and Raneg and Ragwin, you all will notice this as well, but it takes you a moment or two longer than Brend clocks it. These people are suffering from boredom more than anything else. There's some of that morning lack of energy in their movements, but it's also the movements of people that have been stuck in port too long and are just waiting for something to do.
maybe we could go sell them some coffee. Make a little money on this thing. Buy it from Elsa and then, go turn it around.
Whatever.
Man, we're really starting our side gig as resellers quick in this campaign.
Well, whatever the case is, they've been here a while, getting restless and all.
It is very curious that they don't appear to be being let off the ship to go enjoy the facilities in town, the boundless entertainment to be found in this little bird here.
Yeah, the sparkling
Well,
nightlife this place has got going on.
That's right.
Or perhaps they just they are once again dismissive of the locals.
Yes, but still, they could come ashore, buy stuff, go fishing, go wander. I would think
For a walk.
boredom would certainly overcome any similar.
Prejudice.
Well, I suppose there's only one way to find out, isn't there?
Uh,
Yeah.
so,
Is there a way to get on a ship? Like
Currently,
a
no.
boardwalk?
There is no boardwalk laid down. The ship is tied off to the dock, but there is no set up means of access.
No.
Wow, that's some serious introversion.
Yeah,
Going
discuss
on
with
there.
them. Perhaps we can get their attention somehow.
I don't know. Waving
could
this far
do
away.
You can yell.
Uh,
It's always an option.
yeah, I mean, we could go, go out on the dock, but what would we be asking about?
Why
What
they're
they're
so
doing
bored.
here. How long they've been here? What they're waiting
Wow,
for?
you know what we could do? We could, since they're supposed to be a merchant vessel, let's go see if they have anything to sell.
That is this vessel, isn't it?
Yes, indeed.
Oh yeah.
This
Yeah,
is this is supposedly a merchant vessel.
Supposedly.
Supposedly, from what you've been told.
Mhm.
But
Does
they
it
seem to have
look
done.
like a merchant vessel, I
Ah,
suppose. From my understanding of ships,
yeah.
is it armed? Is the hull reinforced? That sort of thing. Like,
Go ahead and
does
give
it
me.
look like your average?
Go ahead and give me a recall knowledge roll, Brend.
Okay. Du-du-du-du-du. Recall knowledge. There you go.
Taking a look over the vessel. The hull is reinforced as you look over it, and that could certainly be as a result of being merchants and just wanting to protect the ship. Certainly, some wealthy merchants would do such a thing, but as you look over the construction of the ship, this is built for speed. There are a few ports along the side that would likely be for a cannon or some ballistae. You would probably look at this, Brend, with your connections and understanding. This looks more like a ship you would recognize as typically being something that carried mercenaries rather than goods for sale.
Hmm.
Oh.
Certainly a little bit too heavily laden for a merchant ship. Transport, maybe.
What do you mean?
Military transport, too. See
That-
Brent trying to swallow heavily.
They are trading. They're waiting.
Right. So if they're men of action, they're probably bored from having not much to do here.
Probably, but
That would make sense.
Did they look? I mean, are any of the ones wandering around on deck? Are they armed, armored?
They all appear relatively, seasoned individuals, perhaps prepared for a fight. You don't see at a quick glance any armor on the people on deck, though. You can't really see below their waist just because you are below the top of the ship and there is railing. But generally, looking at their clothing, they appear in relatively regular work clothes as opposed to full armor.
We call out to them and ask them what they're doing here, or should we just leave it at that? Something seems.
Oh no, let's approach them and ask if they have anything for sale. This is
Uh,
there's
play
supposed to
the
be a
fool.
merchant ship that should not cause undue, aggravation.
Yes.
Very well. Be our guest, Krakow.
Yeah, he'll come down. As he walks down, obviously next to the ship, there's no other boats right there.
Yeah.
Does he get any attention from the crew?
You can pretty easily tell, like, some people cast glances over their shoulders at the sound of your boots ringing out on the hard wood of the docks. They certainly notice you. They promptly ignore your approach, though,
Mm-hmm.
and just continue to do their own thing on deck.
Then I'll stop. I guess at whatever position I'm most likely to actually be able to see somebody.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I'll holler out, "Ahoy, yo, persons on the deck."
uh,
See if there's any reaction.
there's some people that like turn their heads specifically away and walk away. But after like 20 seconds, one of these ship workers does make his way over, lean on the railing, look down at you. What do you want?
We were told that you were a merchant vessel. I was inquiring to see if you had any goods for sale.
Yeah, and our captain's in talks with your town's leader already. Once that's been taken care of, we'll pull our goods out for sale. You can wait until then.
Ah, I see. I see. Well then, thank you very much, good fellow. And I'll
Spits down
start
into the
walking back
water and
into-
walks back.
And did that individual have any indication of rank or, like a military outfit that's a little?
No, he was wearing like full, just regular, somewhat tight work clothes. Looked to be just a simple deckhand.
Okay.
Mm.
All right. I shall
Well,
walk
doesn't
back.
seem
I'll say,
like we're
doesn't
going to
seem-
get much information out of them. They're not very.
yes,
seem
little to be
guarded.
learned here, I think. Shall we go look at the
You guys want? You
Dock
can
house?
always attempt to sneak aboard the ship. That's always an
I
option.
ain't that sneaky. I ain't that sneaky.
Maybe when the sun goes down.
I don't.
You don't want to do it in broad morning daylight?
No. Not a
Yeah,
fool.
that +0 stealth just,
Doesn't cut it.
yeah. Until I have like invisibility or shape change or something. Yeah, I'm thinking that.
Yeah.
I mean, Brand might try to walk up and try to go a different angle with it.
Sure.
Uh,
Oh, cool. Sure.
after, maybe lingering back a little bit so as not to give the game away that we're all together.
Did you guys all walk down the dock relatively together, or did you guys like stay off the dock and just Krakow went down initially?
Brand would have been content to let Krakow do the talking initially, I feel.
Yeah, I
Probably
don't think we would have.
listening in. I was probably on the dog.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, if you stay back, it may or may not look to these people like you were with Krakow or not.
Okay.
Well, now that the sun is up, is there activity? Fishing boats?
Yeah,
people
a lot of
going to the
people
store?
have got. Some people have already headed over to Elsie's to get some morning bread as well. Many people are out getting their fishing boats ready and getting out into the waters. There's some general movement around town itself. But, Brent, what you got?
Yeah, I guess he'd kind of just saunter over. Do these guys look like they come from Zenidusaril? Like, or are they kind of a mixed bag?
They do look, this sort of Saga lands ethnicity in general.
Okay. Any Ulfan-looking individuals?
At a quick glance, no.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, fair. Nevertheless, still gonna kind of saunter up on over.
They would
and
all
yeah,
look
if any of-
Varisian, that's the term I was looking for.
Cool. Yeah, any of them that currently seems bored, try to like walk over and strike up a conversation.
That's all of
Get
them, but they
straight.
are all on the
All
ship.
of them. Okay, yeah. Just say, "Land not treating you well?"
Are you shouting this up from the dock, or did you want to try and get on the ship?
Up from the dock initially, just to make my presence known. Yeah.
As you call this out to one of them, they look over at you. There is a very clear bias, it seems, between Krakow, the very scholarly-looking individual who's lightly armed and armored, and Brend, who's wearing full armor, large blade, and multiple javelins on their back. There is more of a flash of respect in their eyes looking at you, Brend. And they'll walk over and just, like, hands grip the railing, look down at you. Sorry, what was that?
Was just wondering. I've, truth be told, never been on a ship this big, least not serving. But I know enough about boats and sailors to know that normally you'd be first to jump at the opportunity to cavort on land a little. Come but notice that seems to not be the case.
Oh, wouldn't I wish that I could. We're stuck
Something
on
you
this
didn't
until we
like.
get word back.
I'll kind of look at him. Back from what, if you don't mind my asking?
Back from... And then he gets, like, smacked in the head by someone else. And actually walking up to the railing of the ship at this point is the first armored person you see. Tall, Varisian female, high cheekbones, large scar on her chin, earrings with topazes in them, full pirate's hat on, maybe not pirate's hat, but a full wide-brimmed hat, and a set of leather armor on them. Looking, I suppose, a bit something like this. And she smacks this other sailor on the back of the head, and then just shoves him away. Looks down at you. Who are you?
Name's Brand. Traveled here from that town just down, well, stone's throw down the road, really. Accompanied one of the locals. She was invited, I suppose, over to the big house just on the edge of town. But me, myself, as far as I'm concerned, my work here is done, and I'm looking off for a way off this island. Can't help but notice you got a boat. Can't help but notice also that it seems like you're forced to stay on the boat. Wondering if might be we could help each other?
Go ahead and give me a diplomacy check, Brend.
Okay. Open or blind?
Open. It's stealth, deception, and perception are the ones I require blind unless said otherwise. Everything else is public unless said otherwise. That is a very good roll.
Ooh, nice.
She will look at you for a long moment, that sort of like standing tall, imperious gaze of looking down at you. But then she'll let out a short whistle, and a couple of the sailors will come over and put a gangplank down. Yelling's tiring. I'm assuming those people gawking from the edge of the docks are with you?
They are. Companions. I can vouch for each of them.
Come on up.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, right.
Yep, we'll kind of beckon everyone forward.
Yeah. As she invites you all aboard the ship, which you can also see does have a name on it. It is called the Swordfish.
The swordfish.
The Swordfish. The Swordfish.
The swordfish. The swordfish.
Yeah.
Let's go, assistant.
As you guys all make your way aboard the ship, you do notice about half a dozen other men on the ship, seemingly regular dockhands themselves, that are sort of milling about, definitely looking with interest at you all, but this figure who invited you up will step forward and extend an arm. First mate Janice.
Brand. I'll extend a hand as well.
Takes it, gives you a quick, very strong handshake. Looks at the rest of you, does not extend a handshake to any of the rest of you.
Cracker will give him a friendly nod.
She will actually nod back to that.
The clock's used to this behavior.
Being ignored.
Rannick hasn't even made it on the ship
Yeah.
yet. He's still back. I didn't realize you guys have left. His perception is so bad.
Does someone call out to Rennig, or do you leave him behind?
I will whistle over from the ship. Oh wait,
Come hustling up.
There's a bird calling Rennig.
Random. What are you doing?
I just a song in my head, I suppose.
So, apologies for the rather cold opening. You all, well, Mr. Brand here is from Osprey Cove, as he says, but perhaps not actually there. Does the same hold true for each of you?
Right. I'm
But
not from
recently-
Osprey Cove.
Right.
I just said I'm not from Osprey Cove, if that's what she's asking.
Well, are you from here then?
No.
And but recently arrived from overseas myself. Says Crackdown.
Yes, and me and Ragwin and his sisters were all from Vericia, Sandpoint.
Oh,
We've traveled quite a ways to be here.
well, mighty strange bunch you all are then. What brings
We
you
just all
to...
happened to be in town, and when this mission came up, we were asked to escort a local from that town to this town. Roads were not known to be completely clear, so we agreed to accompany them.
Well, what an interesting circumstance, then. Brand here says he is not looking to stick around. Does that hold true for the rest of you?
My business is on this island. I actually was curious about.
Pity.
I'm looking for old ruins of Sinadasariu. Perhaps you've heard of such location being from the city itself.
No.
And I, being
Can't say that I
newly
have.
arrived, am interested in this land. And I will
Sense motive?
Hey, if you want to, you can.
Sure, why not?
She took a moment and then sort of like nodded her head as she said no. Or, sorry, shook her head as she said no.
Can I also do that since I'm interested in the ruins?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll allow the two of you to give me a sense motive here.
Sense motive because why not? Because
How do you do
I
sense
will-
motive again?
I
Uh,
won't
sure.
use it. I won't sense motive.
Well, thank you. It's in the basic action macros.
Yep.
Fantastic.
yeah, we got this vested interest. You know, we're out here looking for
Right.
this place.
Click clock. She seems mildly confused by your question, and
Just doesn't understand
like
the history.
took an actual moment to think on it and be like, do I know that name? And then just sort of like shook her head to almost to herself as she said no. You're fairly certain it was not a like moment of let me gather myself and lie. It was a maybe? No.
You don't happen to have any experts of Sinadasari's history on board, do you?
closest thing you'd get to an expert in city history. Not gonna be on board this ship. We are but humble merchants making our way around the world.
Of course. Yes. Well, I'm sure others have things they wish to discuss as well.
Well, she will
Hmm,
look
yes,
expectantly
look-
at the rest of you.
Yeah, Cracker will kind of lean forward a little bit and said, "We understand that you're a merchant vessel and you may have things to sell. And we thought we would, look and see if there was something that we might have an interest in. But we were told that that would have to wait until the business up at the stone hold was taken care of."
Indeed, yes. Our wares are not quite yet for sale. We are waiting for our captain to return after brokering a good deal with the lord of this place. And when that is said and done, we shall gladly open our wares up.
Oh, very good.
Happy to-
Might I ask, if I may ask, what sort of goods will you be offering?
Spices and alcohols from the mainland.
Ah,
How long have you been waiting? Is this meeting taking long?
She will look at you, And-
Robot man.
pause for a couple seconds here.
Krakow will sort of, and this is kind of by nature of, I guess, as an aid to the fumbling robot there. So yeah, things seem to move at a very slow pace in this region.
If
Yeah.
you would like to give an aid, Krakow, for diplomacy, and then Click Clock, you would like to give an actual diplomacy check, you are welcome to do
Right.
so.
I got a fat +3. It should be good.
Hey ho, well maybe you'll get a bonus from aid.
Action.
This is why I trained myself
not
in
action.
diplomacy so I could talk.
Efficiencies. There we go. All right, diplomacy. Is this a blind also?
Nope, aiding is always a public roll, with a flat DC of 15 outside of specific circumstances.
Oh,
Oh, 27.
Fantastic. That'll be a +2 circumstance on your bonus. Click
sure he
Clock.
should just roll it himself. And so wait, how much? +2?
+2.
Cool. Nice. All right. All right, here we go. Come on. Is that worth hero pointing?
That is a failure, as is.
Yeah, I'll hero point it.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Much better. She will take a moment and, as she looks on at you in silence and Krakow jumps in to add in, she will glance at the rest of you still for a moment. And, sorry, I'm checking my actual number of days. Give me half a moment here. He has been in meeting for roughly 4 days now. Today would be the 5th.
Wow.
Mm,
Quite long.
slow indeed.
Very, one might say.
That would try even my patience, I fear. Unless there
Yes.
were entertainments to be found in that stonehold.
Yes, well, the sooner we can offload our wares, make a profit, and return home, the better. There are...
Was there any mention of the nature of this meeting? Or is it just like, being friendly or whatever.
Can I get, from anyone who has not done so yet and would like to do so, a sense motive check? Because she's going to go quiet at this, thinking for a moment on what to say, but there may be something noticed in this.
Okay, here you go. I've got the highest modifier.
Goodness gracious me, oh my people, knock it off.
You're welcome.
We rolling well, bad?
2 19s and an 18.
Oh,
Ah,
So yeah,
excellent.
she's caught our attention. There's a whiff of something amiss.
Mm.
I love that.
She is, as she goes quiet and thinks here, all three of you are relatively confident that, you know, earlier when she answered Click Clock's question, it was a matter of her actually thinking on, does she actually know something? She's in a similar situation right now where she's thinking what to say, but this shouldn't be something that needs her to think
Yeah,
about
she's
what to
lying.
say.
Yeah, she's making up something.
They are conversing about the actual rate of sale and any kickback that needs going to Stonehome, as from what I've heard, the place is in need of some repairs recently after change in worship.
After what?
A change in whom they worship.
Oh, worship.
Yes, the Lord of Iron, unfortunately, was smitten down from his divine throne last year, as I'm sure all of you well-traveled individuals are aware, and, well, from what we heard, they were a lovely group of Gorham worshippers here, but with the Lord's demise, they have had to change some things in their temple.
Mm. And such things certainly can cause a bit of turmoil, politically speaking.
Of
I have
course.
no doubt there's a great amount of reshuffling.
With them needing additional funds, we are, unfortunately, it seems one of the few merchant ships to come with a decent stock recently, so they are trying to figure out what additional wealth they can squeeze from us in order to repair that stone fortress of theirs.
Mm. Indeed.
And our captain is a very, very shrewd businessman, much to all of our chagrins on occasion.
Oh, doubtless that makes for a better income. Surely you get a share of the proceeds from such ventures.
Well, sure, but if for an extra little bit of money you have to wait around doing nothing for days on end in a, I'm sure you all understand it as well, backwater heap of a town,
Yes.
it is monotonous to the highest degree.
I can understand that. I would be probably involved in my research and whatnot, but yes, to be stuck on board a tiny ship like this would indeed be a trial.
Well, hopefully, for your sake, they conclude it soon.
Indeed. Now, you did mention, forgive me, that I believe Brand here said you all came with a individual of some importance from Osprey Cove who themselves has gone to Stonehome now. So do you think you all will be going to meet up with them there.
I'm not sure they'll let us into Stonehome, but we will be talking to her on the morrow, perhaps.
We had a
We
plan to
may
stop
we may
by.
stop in today just to see how our patron is doing, see if there's any needs that she may have. But we didn't get exactly a warm welcome when we arrived either.
On the chance you all get let in, would you do me a favor and tell our captain we're getting bored to tears here, and if he doesn't come back soon, we're going to abandon him.
I'm sure he will be more than interested in receiving such a notification.
I don't really care how he
After
feels
all.
about it. Just be happy for him to get the message.
Mm.
We'll do our best, of course.
Much appreciated. Of course, this is a favor, a request I am asking you, so let it not be said that we will not pay you for your efforts if, of course, you do manage to speak with him.
Side quest.
We'll certainly attempt to. Perhaps a discount on the trade goods might be appropriate. We'll let you know. if we're
Indeed.
Successful.
Well, it has been a riveting conversation for me, as I'm sure it has been for the rest of you. So, thank you for your time. Please enjoy the rest of your days.
Yes.
I
Farewell.
nod politely to him and stroll off the ship, looking around as I go. Still very curious about this supposed cargo they have.
Yeah. Well, as you guys make your way off the ship, the sailors will pretty much instantly pull up the gangplank behind you
Mm-hmm.
and promptly ignore you guys as you are left on the docks by yourselves.
As a now I'll look at the game tape, and from a society point of view, what feelings were I getting from, like, what was the attitude of the crew towards the person speaking? And in general, they were moving sluggishly aboard. Did they seem to be the least bit interested in the fact that we've got 5 total strangers, obvious, not your run-of-the-mill townsfolk on board? Was I sensing any sort of relative feel for how they felt about the person that was doing the talking?
Best you could tell was that sense of effectively boredom. There was certainly interest when you guys all came aboard, but they, for the most part, stayed away. They did not try to listen in on your conversation. They made themselves busy while this Janice, first mate Janice, as she introduced herself, was on deck speaking with you guys.
Okay. I guess one of the things I'm kind of thinking is like a society type of information and gather information, but body language, when she wasn't looking their way, were they glaring at her back? Were they, keeping a respectful distance and not making faces, doing anything that dissatisfied
Didn't look
troops
like
or
it.
crew might make?
No. They seemed truly bored, respectful, maybe a bit afraid of her, but no one was making faces behind their back or anything of the like.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be looking for subtle clues, but yeah. Okay. All right.
Let's move on.
Yeah. So we'll check out this warehouse.
Stonehome. Right.
Do we want to go Stonehome, or do we want to check out the dock first?
Can I do a couple of hours of gathering information about this rust disease?
Yeah, if you want to, I take it you want to sort of step away from the group and begin just talking with townspeople on your own.
Well, I mean, anybody who wants to join can, of course. But yes, in effect.
Yeah, if we're going to delay going to Stoneholm, then Krakow will go with you.
Yeah, sure. Stick together.
Go to.
Okay. Then anyone who wants to do a general sort of gather information role of just chatting with people around town is welcome to do so.
All right.
This is, of course, a blind diplomacy role. It shows up in the exploration tab of your basic action macros, unless you have the streetwise feat, at which point you can use society for it instead.
Oh, wait, is it? Yeah, right here, I'll do it.
Mm,
What was it called? Gather.
Gather information.
Gather information.
Gather information.
It's on the exploration tab.
Oh yeah, okay. Sure, why not?
Fantastic. And of course, does anyone have any skills or abilities that specifically benefit things like gather information?
No.
Okay.
Don't think I do.
No, all of mine are performance based.
Do you have something that lets you use performance for gather information?
No.
Okay. There is a feat that allows that. I just wasn't sure if you had it.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing Krakow may get at some point. He'll have some stuff that helps with that.
Alrighty.
Skills.
Well, as you guys spend some time beginning to ask around, spending the morning of the day going around talking to people, seeing what you can learn, there are a few things you gather. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. Brend and Ranig.
Hmm?
The two of you are going to be the ones who gather any sort of potentially interesting information during, the first bit of the morning, which still in and of itself isn't necessarily going to be too impressive or useful. Brend, as you find a couple people to speak with, they mention to you, a bit of information about Stonehome. It's a once temple of Gorum until last year when it became quite apparent to everyone that Gorum had fallen, at which point there was a bit of a schism in the town's general worship. Most of the people moved to worshipping Jartavan, the Blade Soul, with their emphasis on, self-expression and motivation, helping those who need it, while also still maintaining a healthy respect for the people around them. There were some people, including Lord Ragnulf, who was the head of the Gormite religion and is still the leader of the town effectively, who viewed the demise of Gorum as a portent to the end of the world, and took it upon themselves instead to adjust their worship to the Rider of War, an entity from the depths of Abaddon that truly seeks to see the world brought to ruin. And that tension has been bleeding out into the town as well and creating a healthy amount of discourse between the populace. It's led to the town actually becoming a lot quieter, people not really talking to one another as much, as they sort of wait to see what the official religion of Iron Harbor will become. Notably, though, Stonehome has still been open to the public. That is where many of the town's workshops have been, especially for blacksmithing, since, of course, it used to be a temple to Gorham. Since the Thessalonians arrived about 8 days ago, Stonehome has been closed to the public. They haven't let anyone in.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, I guess Brent would, after, learning all this, kind of say, might be that Thastalon's Sinadessa is finally closing its fist.
this is certainly a possibility.
Anything else we learned?
Rennig, you were asking specifically about that sort of like rust disease or whatever it was, right?
Yeah, I seem to recall that somebody, maybe it was Elsie or Elsa, had said there was a disease going around or something.
It was, you saw it on, you learned his name was Blanton, Brother Blanton, the guy who died at Osprey Cove. Looked like he as a person had rusted almost. Elsie specifically mentioned that there hasn't been like sickness around town, but she mentioned this area to the south, over on Thunderhead Isle, known as Rusthenge, which is a place that makes some folks sick who visit there.
Oh,
That certainly
And that is
sounds
a local
suspicious.
landmark, effectively.
okay.
But
Rusty, making people rusty. I wonder.
there's no connection there, I promise.
Pretty good. Phew.
I swear on my name.
So yeah, I would ask about that.
Yeah.
The rust disease, and maybe its connection with Thunderhead Island.
Yeah. As you ask around to some people about Rusthenge, this disease, Thunderhead Isle in general, most people will tell you there's not any sickness going around. Everything's fine. No one in town has been showing signs of sickness or anything. One of the people you speak with looks you dead in the eyes when you mentioned Thunderhead Isle and says, "You're talking about those jagged spires up there? Do not go there, whatever you do. I've been seeing weird lights up there the last few nights. Strange flashing things in the depths of darkness. Scares me witless, I tell you."
Indeed.
All right. Noted.
Krakow
run
will actually,
straight
if
back to the-
Krakow's there when he gets that information, he'll have a few questions for the guy.
Real quick,
You know,
what were
what's
you
the
saying,
nature of the
Rannick?
lights?
I was going to say I'm going to run back to the party and
Okay.
tell them.
Yeah, because you were the one who got this information as you guys were all sort of spread out talking to people.
Yep. And tell them I think we've seen these lights before.
Have you?
Maybe.
Maybe.
The morning of. The morning of.
You saw a light, certainly.
Yeah.
On the beach.
But I
Was it the
believe we also made mention that you recognized that light as a heal spell.
Who says these
That
aren't
morning.
spell?
That's completely fair.
There could be a bunch of people healing out there at this
Who knows?
seven-circled island. Anyway, I'll inform the party of what I found out.
Okay.
Did not under any circumstances go to this place.
Yeah, whatever you do, don't
Alright,
go
well.
to Rusthenge.
I
Well,
will not do that.
let's go.
I still
we
don't know why
walk
we
there?
would, but
Seems it's not accessible easily.
Unfortunately, it's not the most easily accessible, no. It is sort of an island on its own. Though I would, as you guys talk to people, you would be let know that at low tide, this entire area does the water recedes and makes it traversable by walking. But if you... Let me figure out how to phrase this. Low tide only lasts about an hour, and otherwise, if you want to get there, you need to take a boat. This entire area is mostly pretty tall cliff, which actually, Ranig, I'd think you would recognize. Like, down at the town being at water level, with how high that cliff is, that light's got to be pretty big or pretty bright to notice it from down in town.
Okay. I'll let them know that as well, them being the party.
Everywhere I've looked has turned up very little information about the ruins I seek. Now, maybe these ruins could be connected. I mean, this region was.
Now, assistant or click clock, whoever you are, we were told explicitly not to go there
What, by a random guy? I mean,
by a random guy
he's
who
a
lives
civilian.
here.
Of course he would be afraid of a ruin. I am not. I'm an adventurer. This is the
Yes.
nature of the job.
Spooky lights should not deter us from checking this place out.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Spoken by adventurers who have never encountered a will-o-wisp before.
Yeah. Quick Luck is has a short adventuring history.
But after that, if that's the end of our gathering information section, I think we could try for the stone home.
Yeah, if you guys want to head for Stonehome there, you can always continue to ask around, see if there's other information you can gather. That is just a few sort of hours leading us up until about noon, asking around
yeah, why not?
about that.
What's the worst that can happen? A crit fail, we get bad information.
Maybe.
Never happens. Never.
Certainly out of 5 people rolling there, none of you rolled a natural 1.
Absolutely.
Just
Yeah, if you guys want to go try and check out Stonehome, you're welcome to do that. If you wanted to, I believe some of you made mention earlier that you wanted to check out like Gold's Ruins still as well. You have been explicitly told don't go to Thunderhead Isle. You can also always do things like check out the surrounding terrain around town, things like that. It really is quite open, whatever you guys want to do here. That decision is on you guys.
Ranig really likes talking with people, so I think he would continue to gather information.
Okay.
I mean, if we're okay splitting the party up for these various exploration things.
I'm cool with it.
We can. It's not like we're talking about a half-day travel.
Right.
To the Stonehome.
Right,
So-
and we're all staying here in the city. I think that's
Surely I
Maybe-
wouldn't
maybe we
ambush
should
you
all go-
guys in the middle of
Yeah.
town.
maybe we should. The plan would be we all go to these mysterious abandoned mansions together.
yeah.
That would probably
If,
be,
if we're gonna get ambushed anywhere, that's it.
or if we go out to Thunderhead Island,
Yeah, that too. But I'd
which,
say like
which we know that we're not going to do.
Of course not.
absolutely
We've
not.
been warned.
We've been warned.
Look, that guy who told you not to go there looked very trustworthy.
He was the most
Especially-
trustworthy person I'd ever seen.
Yeah, he had at least
Nice.
3 teeth in his mouth.
Yes, yes.
Perhaps 4. Okay,
Now,
so I'm
Boats?
just... I'm
Does
going...
it look like there's a significant amount of boats we could rent possibly later to go out to that island?
Does not appear that there are like boats for rent. It appears most of the boats here are fishing boats that belong to people. You could potentially talk to people about hiring them to take you there, but
Yeah, yeah.
Where you said we could walk across during low tide.
during low tide you could walk across, which is about an hour-long period that you guys would know in this area would be at about 6 p.m. 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. would be low tide.
Well, that would also
Okay.
mean that we can always be there for an hour,
Or we have to wait until the next day to come
Or you have
back.
to wait for the next day, correct.
Yeah. And we'd have to hustle to get across all that garbage.
Not
Uh,
that far,
Whole
right?
day on the
It's not that
spooky
far.
Rusty
It's only
Island.
300 feet.
What was that, Ragwin?
Oh no, that's good. Like a whole day in the creepy Rusty Island.
Surely that's where you guys want to spend an entire day.
I mean, that does sound like the plot to a horror film.
Mhm.
A group of
wily teenagers decide to spend a night on an island that they can only access
For an
1
hour.
hour,
Yeah.
and then they can't leave when shit gets crazy.
It's like what high schoolers would
Yes.
dare their friends to do. Like, oh, go spend 12 hours on the funny island.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It makes you feel sick to be there. Okay.
Yes, but most of the teenagers didn't have weapons
Fair.
and spells.
So I'm going to move you guys as tokens just so I know what people are doing what here. We've got Ranig, who wants to continue gathering information with just people in general. What do other people want to do? Krakow wants to head over to Stonehome for a bit. Shut up, Verizon.
I guess I'll do Stonehenge. I don't know.
Stonehenge.
Or stone, whatever.
I knew that was gonna happen. I was waiting
There's
for somebody to do it.
Stonehome and Rusthenge.
Yes,
Rust
because
home.
Rusthenge looks like Stonehenge. It's got
Not-
those things.
It's I mean, do you guys ask anyone about like what Rusthenge is? God, I almost called it Stonehenge myself. How dare you?
Just a part of the gather information once, especially once we heard there was something odd there.
I mean, they would tell you that it's a bunch of like these twisted, rusty metal spires that have been left here millennia ago. That people consider useless, but a good landmark if you're out at sea. It's about it.
Well, since
Some-
we
I
seem to
think,
have a day to kill.
Some people would mention Elsie does sell a special brew that has certainly helped people not feel sick when they go there.
Could be useful.
It has the greatest name in all of Pathfinder equipment.
And that is.
It's Elsie's Excellent Bottled Vim.
Wow. Sounds excellent.
Yeah, it has excellent in the name. Surely it's nothing bad. But they'd be like, yeah, go talk to Elsie and ask for her special brew if you're planning to go to Thunderhead Isle. It's pricey, but it's
Okay.
worth it.
Special brew. Sounds exciting.
Doing a great job of marketing it, I must say.
Mysterious.
Brendan Ragwin, what do the two of you want to do? We've got two people going to Stonehome. We've got Ranig talking to people in general. What do the two of you wish to do?
That's a good question. Brand would probably look to go to Stonehome.
Okay. Get with the rest of the group then.
Yeah. At least I will, anyway.
And
Well-
how about you, Ragwin?
I think I'd go here too.
Fantastic. It's just Ranig going off on his own then.
Wait for me. Don't leave me out here. It's scary.
Okay. Then, real quick, before we start getting into rolling dice and further descriptions, we'll go ahead and take a quick break here. So stand up, stretch, grab some water, do whatever it is you need to do. I will see you all in 5 minutes or so. We'll try and keep it to that or less. So,
All right.
And we probably all have to
Alrighty.
be peeing more often. if we did.
I don't need to hear that. Well, welcome back here. Ranig, we are going to start with you just because you got a nice little simple roll for you to take care of here. So put your food down and roll that gather information.
All right. Hold on. Real quick.
Okay, never mind.
I'm just
Oh, I'll
kidding.
definitely be helping with that.
Hey, now you're over there. You're at the Stonehome. You stay over
Oh,
there.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought that's where we were.
No, this is Ranig talking to
Ignore me.
people still.
Sorry.
You wanted your stone walls. I wanted lovely people.
As you look for people to continue to talk to, Ranig, spending a bit of time, you don't really find anyone who at least has new information for you. You do recognize that the vast majority of the town is out on the water fishing right now, and so it may not be the best time to try and talk to them. And the people you do talk to are mentioning things like, oh, Go talk to Elsie's if you're looking for someone to talk to. Some general conversation about the religious schism going on still, which honestly gets a little annoying to hear about every now and then, because you're either talking to someone who is religious and decides it's a good opportunity to try and proselytize to you, or they just start talking about how fucking annoyed they are that they have to continue listening to people trying to proselytize to them.
Wow, it's like a college campus.
Yeah. There's one thing you gather, Rannig, that might tickle your brain a little bit. When you guys spoke with First Mate Janice earlier, she mentioned that today's the 5th day that the captain has been in Stoneholm. When you guys were talking to people earlier, the ship arrived 8 days ago. And someone mentions off the cuff as you're talking to them that when the ship landed, there was some important-looking guy with an entire entourage that got off and went up to Stoneholm. And they believe that person is like a merchant who's trying to work out some complicated trade agreement, and the Swordfish is their personal vessel, which is not anything that got brought up during your conversation with Janice. But that's also like random townsperson's potential rumor mongering about it.
Okay.
So
I mean, we didn't. She didn't strike us as exactly honest, right?
she definitely
was
seemed to be
withholding
hiding something from you guys, at the least. She did not
Alright.
appear to necessarily directly be lying so much as she just was not sharing everything. She was lying by omission, was your best guess.
Cool. Well, if my friends survive the stone house, I'll tell them that.
Yeah, we'll see.
If they survive, good question. Everyone else, you prepared your backup characters for today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're good.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Just making sure. Click Clock is going to play assistant from now on.
Well, assistant's gonna die before Click Clock does. So
Okay.
I like the idea that you could keep having, like, Click Clock die, and then assistant takes on the name Click Clock and makes a new assistant.
yeah,
And it's just an ever progressive.
yeah.
Rannig's worst nightmare.
Then you'll never know which one is which.
I know that's gonna happen.
Fantastic. As the rest of you, little after noon at this point, approach Stoneholm, it is a large structure. Definitely, like, aside from the dry dock, the one multi-story structure, 2 large floors, most likely, or 3 average-sized floors with an open roof. You see a couple balconies. The entire thing is sort of enclosed by the natural terrain. It's almost in a natural cave, though there is still some opening and light trickling in from above. Maybe about a couple dozen feet above the roof of the structure itself. You are unable to get a great view of the building, though, because there is, of course, a large stone wall in front of you. There is a gate at it, large front iron gate that you can very clearly see has like multiple chains holding it shut, with a very nice looking lock on the other side. And the top of the gate and the walls, which rise to about 20 feet off the ground, studded with some pretty gnarly looking spikes. It's a very unfriendly facade.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
We're so in
Not
sync.
welcoming at all. Yeah.
Very fortified.
At a quick glance, because you can see through the gate, if not through the walls themselves, there does appear to be a bit of a courtyard beyond, with a, before the building itself. You do not see anyone, though, at a quick glance.
Krakow's gonna look around. Specifically, it looks like the terrain is all designed to make it hard to get into, although with those hills being above it, you could actually get down those and
Feasibly.
stand up there and shoot at them. So maybe that's why they don't have windows and a lot of that stuff. But is there any unusual natural activity? Have we been seeing birds and chipmunks and stuff around? I mean, is there any sign of anything normal around, the edges of this and what we can see inside?
Give me a perception check. And while you are doing that, what are the rest of you doing?
We don't see anybody to talk to.
Not at a quick glance. If you want to try and get a better view, you can certainly attempt to.
Yeah.
Is there any sort of bell, like a gong or something?
Not that you see, no.
Yeah, I'll have a look around for someone.
Sure.
Same.
No harm in looking.
Look.
What would the roll be to look for someone? Sorry?
Just perception. Yeah. Unless you've got a really good argument for why deception will help you find someone with your eyes.
I will deceive myself in creating someone in front of me.
There you go. Fantastic.
I'll throw detect magic too.
Yeah. With a detect magic, you're not catching anything at the moment. As you guys look around for people, you do actually see there are some lights. The exterior of the building does appear to have some oil lanterns that are currently lit, even though it's the middle of the day. You don't see anyone. However, there's something that Brend and Krakow each notice that catches your attention as perhaps being interesting, if not wholly unique or of people. Krakow, you notice, sort of sidling up to the door, peering through it, trying to get a good look around. On the western side, there does appear to be a set of stables here. And Brend, you sidle up and look to the east. There's a well. Which, where there's a well, there's a way, some would say. Theoretically, that should be connected to some underground water source. But what you do with that information is entirely up to you.
Any sort of activity in the barn?
From what you can see, you can't really fully see into it. You can just sort of see that it's there, pushing your face up against the bars as much as you can. You don't see anyone or anything actively moving at the moment. You know what? I do want to say Krakow and Brend, and I suppose if you make what you two see known to everyone else, what are your guys' proficient? Is there anyone who is trained in medicine out of you guys?
Click clock.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. There is a smell in the air of sickness to you. Just that sort of smell you can get when there is, someone who's left at home, ill in bed, unable to really move or take care of themselves without someone else's help when it's pretty bad. And it just sort of, that smell begins to fester around them. That is what you are smelling, as alongside manure. Or not manure necessarily, but excrement.
How far is the stables from that gate, from the front
Yeah.
gate?
The stables are maybe, 25 feet to the west of the front gate. So here, what I can do... Pay no attention to the fact that I have a map for this place.
Oh, it doesn't mean nothing.
It means absolutely nothing. I just like to be immersive. What I am going to do, because I did say that the gate is more of a wrought iron, I am going to go ahead and do a sort of a proximity site restriction on it instead. And just make sure I do it properly for proximity limited site restriction, I believe is what I wanted to set as. So you should be able to see through it a bit as you push your way up to it. And of course, you know, theoretically you couldn't easily see your way around it, but this would be the stable that you're able to tell Krakow. And the
Now,
well
those
is a bit more
ladders?
over here. Yep.
Those ladders, is there like towers up here, or do they just go up to what's probably a walkway?
It appears part of the wall has a walkway on it. There is sort of the frontmost part of the wall is where there are heavy spikes, and it is quite. It would be dangerous to try and climb.
Okay.
But then there's a walkway behind those that people could stand at.
And which of those wooden buildings to the
Here,
west?
Rannick, so you
is
can
the
see what's going
stable?
on. It would be this entire
see.
western area is the stable. Okay, well, just in case.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, that entire building to the west is the stable, likely built into the cliffside.
And can I see? It doesn't look like I can see much of that door. See if it's open or not.
It appears to be closed at the moment.
Okay.
Well, this air of sickness, it makes me wonder if there's something else going on in there.
Indeed, that could well explain why everyone's been inside, nobody's going outside, and the captain's been missing for not missing, but
Well,
unaccounted
like
for 5 days.
Ordwe went in there, and she's a healer. Perhaps they saw an opportunity.
She does wear her holy symbol openly.
Yes, they might have thought that she could help in such a thing.
Are there any windows or openings into the main building?
Notably,
that I
there
can
are
see from here?
very small glass windows. However, you cannot see through them from where you are.
Can I see them well enough to cast light in there, or in the window?
Not in such a way that it would help you see inside.
Right, but it would be visible from anybody on the inside if they happen to be looking out, right?
Possibly, yeah.
Why does it
Okay.
smell like manure? Is it just the stables?
Probably just the stables. But I feel like I should mention... Actually, any of you who are trained in medicine, can you go ahead and give me a medicine check? This can be public.
Sure. Ooh. All right.
Oh, 0 point that.
Delightful rolls.
What about?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There you go. The hero point.
Okay. Brand, it takes you a moment as, you know, Click Cluck makes the connection that, yeah, the smell of excrement is coming from the stables. That's where the sickness is, like the smell of that sickness is coming from also. It's not like an all-pervading scent. It is coming from the stables and wafting this way. Waft. What a fun word.
Something going on in the stables. That's a fact.
I'm thinking about putting some lights up there in those windows and see if we get a reaction. Since there doesn't seem to be anybody on the guard post here to get it.
I will say, you guys do notice over here and over here, the second floor are balconies. It is not fully enclosed. There are like wooden railings on the second floors there. You do not see anyone there, but there are balconies.
Can we see behind the balcony doors or windows?
From where
we have
you
enough of an
guys
angle?
are at that angle, it's hard to tell.
You know, I'm wondering if they have tried to keep the sickness under wraps. Perhaps this is a quarantine situation. They're trying to keep everyone shut inside that has the disease.
And then why would they need a captain?
Well, the captain got here, what, 5 days ago? Perhaps he got the sickness first.
He may have brought it with him.
Well,
Alright,
hopefully we'll talk to Orby tomorrow, and we'll find more about what's happening here.
I'm thinking I'd like to throw lights at the 2 balconies and those 2 windows and see if anybody responds. If nothing else, if somebody opens a window, maybe we can talk to them.
Okay. Yeah. If you want to take a moment and try and throw some lights up onto the balconies and right in front of those windows.
And I'll try to put them as high as I can on the window so that if somebody comes to the window inside,
They don't have a
we'll
face
have-
directly into the light.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
we're more likely to see somebody. If I have the light right in the middle, then we're looking at the light.
Yeah.
We won't know unless they open the window. But
Oh,
if I
that's great.
try to put it
Clarified.
up high enough so that we might be able to see, if somebody presses up against the window to look out, then maybe we'll have a chance of seeing some movement. And the balconies, I'll put it above the balconies as far, close to the wall up there.
Sure.
Above the balcony. So again,
How
more
long are you
likely
guys
that somebody can
willing
see
to
it.
wait once you put those lights up?
Just a minute, maybe a
Yeah.
couple minutes.
Okay.
And while we're waiting to see, I'm also going to be examining these bars, this gate.
It's pretty sturdy looking.
We didn't get anybody's attention though.
As you guys wait a few minutes, no windows open, no one comes out onto the balconies either. There's no movement you notice.
Oh, it could get noisier. I could put some needles through the windows.
Oh, we don't.
Could a small person like me go through the bars? Or?
No. If you were tiny, maybe, but small, it's not even enough for you to squeeze through.
I think we should move on. We should investigate further if Ordwy doesn't return to us tomorrow.
I'm not sure that waiting, and if there is in fact something serious going on, I don't think waiting an extra day is really in our employer's best interest.
Maybe just waiting for Rannoch and then we go in.
Yeah.
I approve of that message.
This is
breaking
Rannick, and I
into
approve of this message.
Without a mysteriously musically cursed individual.
I don't know how we're gonna go in though. Maybe someone throws me to the other side.
Toss me.
Distant. Enter
Not the
catapult
beard.
mode.
Yeah, do you have a big enough beard we could toss you over it?
I
How high is this wall?
20 feet and then spikes on top of it, so I don't think you guys are going to be able to throw someone over that.
There's no pickable lock?
On the front gate there is. It's a very nice looking lock.
Oh.
But, I mean, it would certainly be possible.
If I roll a 20?
Funny thing about locks in Pathfinder, they typically require multiple successes.
That's true, yeah.
Granted, it's never fun to just sit here and watch people roll thievery checks until they break their lockpicks or get enough successes in a row. So I typically do it a bit differently. But, you guys, I would also mention to any of you who may think about it, if there's truly something going on, there may be other people about town that know different ways into Stoneholm.
Ah, yeah.
Well, that's true. since a lot of them have their shops and such there.
Yeah, you know, Elsie is sort of owner of the general store. Brend, you clocked that Janice and their ship, the Swordfish, are likely not actually merchants as they are claiming, but instead perhaps mercenaries. They might know something or have some skill set, and there may be other people you could speak with that may know things. So it is not necessarily that this locked front gate or climbing the wall is the only way in. You can certainly try, but it's likely either going to be quite challenging or dangerous to do. And there are always additional options.
Yeah. Can
There's
I
a-
inspect the lock, or
I just
is there
lost a
specific
D4 on the
trap?
carpet underfoot, and I don't know where it is. I'm going to step on it.
Uh-oh.
I don't want to step on
terrifying.
that.
Caltrips.
Ah.
Caltrips.
Difficult terrain.
You wanted to try and inspect the lock. Did I hear that correctly, Click Clock?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a recall knowledge. And Ragwin, what were you saying? Did you say something a moment ago, Ragwin?
I didn't say anything. No.
Oh, okay. Did someone say something? Was that crazy?
You're crazy.
Yeah, I was gonna
Brand! God
you
damn
know,
it.
something about the well, but
Now's when we
Come on.
need that magic ladder.
Well,
It's a pity we used
well,
it.
it is 20 feet.
What was your question, Brend?
no, it's an in character thing. I'm happy for this to be resolved before I crack
Okay.
on with it.
Click Clock, taking a look over this. Honestly, the gate and the lock. Who is good at thievery in the party? Oh, fantastic, yourself. You would need 3 natural 20s in a row to pick this lock.
Oh, okay.
It is a
Oh.
DC 25, requiring 5 successful checks to open it.
I
Uh,
don't know if I'm capable of.
Yeah.
You're also fairly
And not
certain
much
this gate
assistance.
is sturdy enough, none of you would easily be able to force it open, sans multiple of you working together and something in the realm of a natural 20.
Is it wood or it,
It is
Mostly
heavily reinforced wood.
does it look like if I just continuously applied fire to it and got
You
the
could
wood burning that it
certainly
would
attempt to destroy it, but that would be a long
Yeah.
process of maybes.
okay.
Uh,
Just looking at if I burned all the wood out from it, would it
Well,
fall apart? That would be the
we
main thing.
probably should ask around town a little more before we.
Oh, I'm
to
just
bed place
considering
now.
options. I'm just looking at what could we possibly do.
Yes.
And that's
mean,
pretty much
remember-
all I could
We
possibly
could
do to help.
use all day, yeah.
And I think Brend had something he wanted to say in character.
yeah. Well, there's a well on the other side. Must be getting water from somewhere. Could be as a groundwater. Could be as groundwater.
And if Ranner
Might
were
be there's
there,
a
he would. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
Might be there's a stream here somewhere.
Might be.
Wonder. Examine the terrain, the surrounding area.
I found the D4. No stabbing my foot
Yeah.
today.
There was much rejoicing.
I would say with that thought that you mentioned, Brend, might be groundwater, might be a stream. Krakow, you would think, since you are trained in survival, if there is one, it would likely connect to the ocean. So if you guys were to look around that area, you could potentially find something that would connect to under the well. No guarantee, but it's a possibility.
Yeah. Also, I guess I would want to apply nature to the area surrounding this, because it looks like this is Stoneholm is pretty much the low point coming down from these hills. So if there was a stream feeding this, that it might be coming from up there as well. there might be a way to get down there. I
Certainly
wouldn't
could
mind
be.
walking before we start burning or trying to break in. Let's check it down, see if we can get some information. But if not, I'd like to walk around the whole thing up in the hills and look down and see what we can see.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you guys have some ideas. Do you want to step away from Stoneholm for now and go reconvene with Rennig?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thankfully, not a terribly large town. Doesn't take you long to find each other.
Oh, hey.
So,
Dude,
what was the verdict over at Stoneholm?
Mysterious. Something's in the air. A sickness or something. Something's happening in there. We couldn't find anybody to talk to. It was locked up as tight as possible.
I've got some news for you too. Now I'm confused, Jericho.
Yeah.
Did I learn that the people have been here for 8 days and we were told 5, or they've been here for 5 and we were told 8?
The ship has been here for 8 days. That you guys learned earlier. The captain of the ship, as Janice told you 5 days ago, went to Stoneholm. You spoke to someone who said there was an entourage of people who, they believed to be merchants, like a wealthy merchant and his whole entourage, who 8 days ago, when the ship docked, left the ship and went to Stoneholm, which is not something Janice mentioned to you guys.
All right. So there's a discrepancy. I think that the first mate said that the captain went into that big Stoneholm over there after 5 days ago. But I've learned from some very trustworthy sources here that he and an entourage of merchants may have entered there 8 days ago. So
Well.
what do we do with that?
I like my wild theories. Let's say that these merchants that are actually mercenaries contracted a terrible sickness and stopped here hoping to find a cure, and since then has been locked inside Stoneholm, and one of them tried to escape and run to Osprey Cove for a solution.
But got shot
That's
by Darrow along the
plausible.
way.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's just theory.
I mean, does
You-
this town strike you as the sort to be giving help to outsiders?
Right.
No.
That's where my mind was going to, Brent.
Well, maybe they would give help to a bunch of brutal mercenaries.
What if that Sir Brother Blanton or whatever his name was, what if he was running to Osprey Cove to spread the disease there?
Fiendish.
Indeed.
Have we checked ourselves for symptoms?
If you
thought about
wanted to spend a while, closely examining yourselves for symptoms, you certainly could. Nothing has made itself obviously known to you.
We haven't done any fortitude saves that I
No.
remember.
Well, hey-ho, if you check my homebrew rules, you'll notice it is directly quoted that for things like diseases with onset periods, I roll those fortitude saves blind.
Oh my god.
I won't even
Uh-oh.
give you the meta knowledge that you've rolled a fortitude save.
Wow. All right. Well, I think ClickClock would inspect everybody for disease.
How thorough is he?
Give me a medicine check.
Somewhat thorough.
We can check ourselves, thank you.
Well, I mean, all right. Your anatomy is not anything I care much about. I always had to make sure to check on my guild master and make sure everything was all right with him. So I'm knowledgeable, believe it or not.
I don't even know which symptoms we'd be looking for.
Yes, well, rustiness.
All
for
right, I
one.
don't see any. Oh, his hair is red.
Your
It was
hair
already,
always
already,
looked like
it was
that.
already like this. I promise.
I
He
see.
succumbed.
A long time
Um,
ago.
I'd like to put forth an alternate theory. I'm thinking that perhaps something was going on, or perhaps they brought it with them, but the merchant and his entourage went up to Stonehold. 3 days later, they had not returned, apparently. The captain left the ship and went to Stonehold, perhaps to check on those individuals. and ended up being stuck in Stonehold. And there may be disease going on. Given the religious turmoil, it's conceivable that they're all in there sacrificing things to their gods to stand up a new religion or some other such nonsense.
Well, if this were Elder Scrolls, you would know that praying at a church would get rid of any disease. Certainly.
Well, that
Look, this town
theory
doesn't have
may
any old
hold-
scrolls, okay?
that theory may hold water, but it sounds like all of our answers may be within that stone home there. How do we get in?
Two things we want to try out. Wanted to go ask around the town and see if anyone down here, since some of them seem to have shops and workshops in the building, if they knew of another way to get in there other than that gate.
I'm on it.
And if the
Everybody here
place
knows me
is-
enough already.
If we do decide to try to break into Stoneholm, which I wouldn't mind waiting until tomorrow to see if Audrey returns, we probably want to purchase some of those potions, because this disease could be the same as that what we're concerned about at Rusthenge.
Indeed.
Very
Indeed.
well.
So I'll aid Renug
Sure.
with the diplomacy to gather information. See
Yay.
if we can find anyone who has
Knows ways in.
any knowledge of things we might be able to use to get in there.
Sure.
And then barring any secret ways to get in there, we can also ask if there's any kids or other folks around, if there's a way to get to those cliffs that
Well,
drop
maybe,
down into it.
maybe while they're looking around, I'll examine the terrain.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to come with me.
So we've got Click Cluck going for the surrounding terrain. We've got Krakow and Raneg gathering information. Brendan Ragwin. What about the two of you?
Correction. Click Clock and Assistant.
Shut up.
Yes.
Assistant has no rights yet.
Yes, but he's proficient in survival, so he might be better at this than I am.
That's fair.
Track.
Yes, said.
Brendan Ragwin, what would the two of you like to do? Some of you may be muted.
No,
Deep contemplation.
no. I was gonna say, Brent would probably go have a word with Elsie.
Sure.
See about that well business.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic.
I think I'll follow Brandon buy a potion for the rust disease.
Okay, yeah, you want to talk to Elsie about her bottled Vim? Her excellent bottled Vim. Well, let's start with the easy rolls then. Reneg and Krakow. Krakow, do you want to roll separately for gather information, or do you specifically want to aid Reneg?
I'll aid.
Okay.
We're both about equally good at it.
Sure. Go ahead. Your diplomacy check can just be a public roll here. DC 15.
No problem.
Fantastic. That'll be a +1 circumstance bonus on your gather information here, Reneg.
Okay.
Wahoo. And you looking for information for some people. Fantastic. As you start asking around for alternate ways into Stoneholm, how discreet are you trying to be about this? Because this is still like the main church and town hall for these people.
He doesn't know. We'll do it. He's an adaptive being.
Okay.
He doesn't know how taboo it is to ask about alternate ways. If after the first couple of sessions, so to speak, people react in a way that makes them think that maybe he shouldn't be asking around, he shall become more discreet.
Okay.
But yeah, he's not
And-
planning on being discreet.
Sure.
And Krakow will aid him in that.
Yeah.
He'll guide him a little bit.
I'll let you know that people haven't really been friendly in general that you've talked to, especially because word has gotten around that you guys came from the west. Ergo, you likely came from Osprey Cove. Most conversations begin with looks of disgust pointed your way.
Damn.
So yeah, after the first few people especially, you probably pretty quickly realize that the people that are quickly shrugging you off when you bring up getting into Stoneholm are very averse to the idea of what to them might sound like you trying to break in to their town hall.
That is what we were thinking about doing.
Right.
No, we don't want to break in. That's why we're asking.
That's what we're asking, you
Can we
idiots.
sneak in? We want to sneak in.
That's so much better in their eyes.
Is there a vendor entrance somewhere? Right, then yeah, we'll pivot and be a little more
Yeah,
deceptive.
absolutely. I think with that roll, you will notice, you'll actually come across some of the guards. Because there are still, a few people in their armor that will walk around town. And you come across a pair of guards who notably have a holy symbol that is not Jartavan's holy symbol. It is a symbol that is a blackened sword with a pale hand grasping it. These individuals, when you talk to them about, Stoneholm's been closed for a while, what's going on, has anyone checked in on it? They both, more so shrugging you off and talking to one another, make mention that, they were on guard duty with one of the other guards about 2 nights ago, and they noticed that guard's key to the front gate of Stoneholm was missing. And, they paid a bit of attention because, hey, whoa, someone is trying to steal or, break in. And then they noticed someone coming and returning the key stealthily to the guard's belt. Didn't say anything because they were on different sides of the religious schism. It was a Tovanite who got their key stolen, and this guard was very entertained by the fact that they now had something they could use against this guard and this faction of, oh, well, you guys aren't attentive enough, you got your shit stolen. But as they're talking about this... Go ahead.
Can we discreetly find out if they know who it was that returned the key?
That's what I was getting to.
Okay.
It was dark. They don't have a name or direct face, but they make mention that they noticed the person had a pretty large hat and headed back towards the docks.
And have we seen anyone with a pretty large hat recently?
I think there's a token on the screen.
First mate.
Yeah, the first mate or whatever that person was.
She did have a nice big hat.
Just shrug. I guess we'll never find them then.
Right. Click Clock and Assistant. The two of you heading out into the surrounding region to do some investigating, seeing what you can find. I will let you choose the role you would like to give me. You could do perception, you could do survival. I don't believe you have something like architecture lore that would be fitting for this.
No. Engineering lore? No.
Not quite. You could do nature. Yeah. These are going to be blind because it's investigation that you're doing here. But I will let you choose which it is you would like to do for this.
Nature, perception,
or survival.
Or survival. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to say perception or nature is better. Is it going to be blind either way?
Yes.
Cool. We'll just do perception.
Oh, here it
Because
is.
you are effectively taking the investigate activity. For
Yes. There you go. I'm all on my own, so if I screw this up,
this. Well, I'll give you the good news. You didn't crit fail.
oh, that's great.
But as you spend a few hours here while the group is looking around, these are full cliffs in this area that head up. You are not finding any safe routes up. Certainly, should you guys get up there, you could probably get down onto the roof of Stonehome at maybe minor injury to yourselves. Maybe major. You guys are relatively weak. Depends on how it goes. But in the first place, to even get up to where that could be attempted, you are not finding any consistently safe routes. It's not me. Doesn't say there aren't any, but with the little bit of time you're spending here, the 2 hours or so while the others are sort of gathering up some information, you're not getting anything.
Not a good roll. All right, well, that's too bad.
Unfortunately, in this case, it was a relatively poor roll.
Can assistant aid me? Will that change anything? No.
No. You just barely prevented a crit fail.
Cool.
So, even if assistant were legendary and could aid, it wouldn't have changed anything.
All right.
Are there any children in this town?
There are likely a few. They would all be on the fishing boats right now, though. There are none just, like, running around town. This town's got a population of, like, 80 people. It's not a big town.
No, it's not. But if they're not having children, this town ain't going to be.
They hide them away.
There's going to be one generation from gone.
Quick, there's Osprey Covers about. Hide your children. Don't let them be afflicted.
Hide your children. Hide your wife.
Right.
Hide your husbands, too, because they're getting everybody out there.
Just hide everyone. There's Covites here. Get them out of here.
All right, then I'm gonna. Then, as part of the process, I'll go talk to the innkeeper.
Sure. Well, we're going to focus on Brendan Ragwin because they were heading there first. So they're going to have some time chatting with her before you would arrive. So, speaking of Brend and Ragwin, the two of you head back over to Elsie's, at which point it is the middle of the day, and there are like 2 or 3 other people just sort of currently buying things. It doesn't look like people do much window shopping here. Since they are townsfolk, they likely go in knowing what they want. It's like going to your local grocery store where you just know where everything is. So people are grabbing what they want and more so actually like lining up in front of the counter with Elsie to pay her before leaving. So it'll be like 2-3 minutes before she finishes up with everyone. Oh, welcome back. It hasn't gotten that late, I don't think. So you're not here for bed yet. What can I do for you?
Well, it hardly needs saying that things are a little bit tight at the stone home. Seems like there's a disease about.
Nah. Things have been fine. Wait.
Can I sense motive on that?
Yeah. As she like, she's actually at the same moment, she's sensing motive on the two of you guys. She's trying to clock, are you joking with her or not?
Well, something's going on at Stoneham. You can't hide it from us.
She seems genuinely confused, Ragwin, by that statement. But there is a moment of like realization in her head. Sickness up. You went up to Stonehome, did you? And you smelled sickness?
Aye.
It's one of the rams up at Stonehome. I've been taking care of her. She's been sick for a while now, and well, I haven't been able to go up for the last week or so. It's made it a bit challenging. But that's probably the sickness you were smelling.
Why haven't you been able to go?
No one's been able to get into Stoneholme. Gates have been shut. Aside from the guards coming in and out every now and then to change shift looking around, which, I mean, I don't want to fuck with them. Haven't been let in.
Is there a reason they mentioned, or
You think them religious folks tell me a reason? They just tell me to fuck off. Tell me, go back to your little store and we'll come buy things we need. Don't you worry.
well, not for nothing, but one of the elders from Osprey Cove's in there currently. Say nothing of a captain gone missing a few days back. We'd like to check in, make sure things are alright, see if we could help, but hardly need saying it's hard to get in. Was wondering if you might know a way in? Seeing as you used to go there and all, at least know anything about the well.
She sort of thumbs her chin and looks over you very appraisingly. You're asking me if there's a way to get past locked doors and spiked walls and, as out-of-towners, into the town hall and religious center of our fun little town?
I've been
Yeah,
preposterous.
I do.
are you in a
But-
mind to share?
You two. Well, let me ask you this. How much do you care about the living, be they two-legged or otherwise?
Living.
Can I ask what you mean by that?
Sure. If I ask you to take care of Ida, since I haven't been able to, will you? While you're there, of course.
Shouldn't be hard to do. Yeah.
All
Got no
right.
problem helping out a goat. Goats are cute.
Let's see, you
What
saw...
sort of sickness does the goat have?
It's honestly just something normal. It's not too bad, but I've been caring for her, and she'll pull out like a tin from under the counter that has some. They look like biscuits in it, and I've been giving her some medicine of mine that's been helping her, but she's old. Not a great build-up of immunity to ailments and the like, so she's having trouble walking. Nervous that she's in a pretty bad spot since I haven't been able to get to her for a bit over a week. But I would like the opportunity to care for her again, and in absence of that, I will happily simply provide you all some of the medicine and ask you to take care of her while you're in there.
Shouldn't be hard to do.
Yeah, works for me. So long as we're getting in.
Fantastic. Well, you... I don't remember your name. You mentioned the... you saw the well, did you?
I did.
Fantastic. Head around the eastern side of town, watch down near the water, and, there's underground stream. It's a bit hidden, empties into the water. Should connect to the well, from my understanding. Again, no confirmations, but from my understanding of the land and layout, it's likely a way to connect it. And she will point you guys into generally this area. Over here.
Yes, I missed that. Oh, I didn't look at that spot.
So, You'll get in, maybe, assuming it lets you. Actually, if you're looking for another way to get in, have you gone and spoken to Derek yet?
Can't say we have.
Fair enough, he's a bit out there, but he's a architect by trade, at least was at some point, so he might know something, seen something with his eyes when he was in town for some time, so might be worth speaking with him. He might know something. And Daryl was the one she had told you guys is shacked up over at Gold's Ruin. The not actual member of the town, but who lives in ostensibly haunted, half-built mansions. What fun!
Yeah.
Oh,
Sounds about
that's
right.
where we were going next. Probably, maybe.
Well,
And just in case as we're gonna go there, I heard you sell some kind of potions for the disease that's there.
I sell something that helps people when they feel sick heading up to Rusthenge. I mean, there's no disease over at Stoneholm aside from Ida's illness. If you're looking for some of my brew, though, I'd be happy to sell it to you. It's 3 gold a pop. And she'll pull out like a small container, about half a dozen vials that are glass with this pale pink liquid that's slightly fizzy inside of it.
3 gold.
Any,
Okay. That's like 10% of the GDP at this village.
Any kind of discount on bulk purchases? I say as I look at my gold.
How many are you looking to buy? I got half a dozen right here.
Like 5.
Buy 5. Be 15 gold normally. You guys are staying the night. Taking care of Ida for me. I'd give you 5 for 14.
Random.
Yeah.
Can I just put my 4 gold? No, 3 gold?
Yeah, sure. I'll. I mean, how much gold was it total? I'll split the cost with you.
14 for 5.
14. Yeah, I'll give you 7.
Okay. 2 of you each put 7 gold down on the table. Her eyes actually go a bit wide and sparkle seeing that many gold coins placed on her table, and she will quickly pull 5. Actually, not even. She pulls 1 vial out of the little carrying tray of 6 and just pushes the rest towards you guys. Take the tray free of charge. I got extras.
We need to talk about your negotiation skills.
I mean, I got a gold off. That's-
Without even a
Yeah,
diplomacy check.
Exactly. That's exactly what we need to talk about. My share of that is every penny that I have left on me.
Fantastic. Well, I've gone ahead and thrown these in the party stash, but she will happily describe what it does. It helps effectively reduce the value of clumsy, drained, enfeebled, or sickened for 8 hours after consumption. It does not remove the condition from you fully. Even if it goes down to 0, it will return, but it will help offset the effects long enough for any actual necessary treatment to be provided.
Maybe that's how the guy made it all the way to Osprey.
It's possible.
I will say, as you two finish up this purchase and begin walking out of town, or out of her shop, that'll be when the rest of you reconvene once more. At this point, it's around 3 in the afternoon, as you guys have gotten this, and it seems you have numerous leads and connections. A potential stream that leads into the well of Stoneholm, where it seems there's likely something going on. People not responding, an injured ram that they had asked Elsie to care for, and now they're no longer allowing in. The both captain of the ship and strange merchant and their entourage that both entered at different times. The first mate Janice, who ostensibly, for only a few hours one night, stole the key of one of the Tovanite guards. Of course, Rusthenge itself, that you've been warned to stay away from, that has weird lights at night. And Gold's Ruin, that has a strange old architect who might be able to help you get into Stoneholm as well if you were looking for that. Lots of different leads. And of course, a meeting with Elder Ordwy come tomorrow morning. So, what are we planning from here as you all come back together? What are we thinking? What are we doing?
I'm thinking this gold home. Since we wanted to check that out anyway.
Yes.
Or Gold's. Whatever.
Yeah,
Gold
Gold's
Ranch.
Ruin, it's called.
Gold Run, yeah.
And
I'm
on the
thinking
way.
We wanted to check that anyway.
Let's go.
What were you about to say, Click Clock?
I was say on the way, like, oh, Brackwin, and what is this? Oh, this is the potion. How much do I owe you for this?
3 gold.
Yes. All right. I will hand him 3 gold.
Has Ragwin caught the sickness also? IRL? I feel like I'm hearing a cough every now and then.
That was crack out when he heard the price of this.
Ah,
I'm
fair
going to
enough.
remove 3 gold so you can add 3 gold to your...
Fantastic.
Well, hopefully this is helpful.
Hopefully.
Well, hopefully not. Perhaps the situation where we need it is not one we want to be in, but nevertheless, worth the gold.
Honestly, it's not the worst item in general. If you guys get drained or something, because drain sucks, or even clumsy or enfeebled, lasting an extended period, being able to just nullify it to continue adventuring is pretty good. So we've got Click Clock and Krakow heading over to Gold's Ruin. What about the rest of us? Phenomenal.
Brand might ask some questions around town.
Sure. Yeah, if you want to spend some time trying to talk to people, you are welcome to do so.
Yeah.
We're hitting the time of day where some people are beginning to make their way back from their fishing boats to take stock of their full haul, maybe do some trading and selling, begin thinking about preparing dinner and all that like. So you can certainly begin asking around about some things of your own. Ranig and Ragwin, what would the two of you like to do?
I don't know where everyone else is, right?
Yeah, we've got Click Clock and Krakow heading over west to Gold's Ruin. And we've got Brend moving into just sort of general asking territory here. So it is you and Ranig that we need decisions on. What is it you would like to do?
Since that way it's with Brand, I'll just go with Brand.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of want to wait till we're all together to go to the mansions.
Do we do that?
So
Do we wait
I'll
then?
stick with Brand and Ragwin.
Well, if we're all gonna wait in the village, I guess I'll do it too.
I was going to say, I mean, if we're all going to do that, at the point we may as well go to the mansions, and then I can ask questions after, because the mansions seem more directly pertinent. So I suppose we could just go do that.
I say we do it as a team. Whatever we
Your
do.
questions may be faster, Brent, than exploring a mansion.
Depends
Well,
on
yeah,
if
but
you
then again, it doesn't
explore
seem
or
like
we
there's
just
much
talk to it.
exploring, really, is there? It's sort of a ruin and with a guy who we're supposed to talk to, who has information on something that we're looking to get info on anyway. So
Yeah, ostensibly that's all we're going to do, but we know Krakow really and Klikok both really want to explore these places.
You've also been told they are haunted.
Yeah, I was like, this might be where the action's at.
Everyone has their ghost charges ready, right?
Nope.
Well, sucks to be you. So,
How
are
much
we
does that cost?
remaining separate, or do you guys want to all
Well, if
go to the
everybody
mansions
wants to-
together either now or wait?
I want to go together, so I'll probably just stick with the group, whatever they're doing.
Okay.
Maybe we'll gather information, go after. I don't know.
Sure. I suppose I should also ask, Brend, what sort of information are you attempting to gather? Or are you just generally asking around still to see if there's anything else of interest you can learn?
I was going to ask about the religious situation here. but-
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. You could certainly ask about that. Go ahead and give me that gather information roll.
Hmm. Pow.
And remind me, I believe we made a determination on this last session, but I just want to confirm, is Brend aware of his connection?
Not exactly.
Okay, fantastic. It's what I thought, just wanted to make an assumption, or remind myself.
Yeah.
As you start asking around, chatting with people, seeing what's going on, talking with people, it does seem the majority of the like truly religious people are up at Stonehome most of the time. That is where the actual like schism and tension is coming from. There are the majority of the townsfolk themselves worship Jartovan. They'll tell you it just makes more sense to worship Tovan. After all, he cares about hard work, taking care of your others, putting your best foot forward, and we're making an honest life here, fishing, selling, doing our best. Just makes sense to pivot over to him. Those folks that think this is important to the end of the world just don't quite sit right. They're thinking we should focus less on fishing and begin focusing more on industry, preparing for a war that's coming. Just doesn't seem right. But, you know, Lord Ragnulf is sort of heading them, so we're not really sure what we should be doing. Should we look for someone else to lead us at this point, or do we acquiesce? He's the one in charge. He's the one who's not led us wrong up until now. Does he know something we don't?
Hopefully, he would at least communicate with you what you don't know.
Well, they were communicating just fine for a while until that Thessalonian ship showed up and they shut the damn doors.
No one's been in or out since, or
I mean, you got a couple of the guards going around just to keep watch, but no one's really going around.
sounds like an unusual situation.
That's definitely not normal, that's the case. Brend, can you also give me a religion check, please?
Yes.
As they talk about Lord Ragnulf sort of worshipping the rider of war, potentially knowing something that the rest of the town doesn't know, and all that jazz.
Yeah, why don't I have a hero point in this daily discussion?
Yeah,
Why
go
not?
for it. Okay.
Yeah.
For a very small moment, there's almost a voice in your head that goes, oh, he makes a good point. That Lord Ragnulf does know something they don't know.
Hmm.
It
Well, I
is
suppose
not
gotta
a
trust
voice
your
you've heard
leaders, right?
before.
Yeah, that's neat.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's fine.
What's the worst it could be? Some unknown god speaking in your head, giving you orders, dropping hints.
I know, right? Exactly. It's.
Yeah.
it's-
I mean, who does
not
that?
an
Well, I
issue-
guess
not an issue,
I guess a
really.
few demons and devils do that too. But you know what?
Surely they
It's the
only
worst
have
that
good
could happen.
intentions.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I mean, if nothing else, I'd like all the more reason to go to the stone home. I'd like a word with the man.
Well, if you get in there, try and figure out what he's not telling the rest of us, because, hey, I'm interested if he knows something I don't. If we really should be preparing for a war, I mean, rather it not just arrive on our shores without me really being aware in advance, but I don't just want to prepare for some potential conflict. I like fishing. Where'd you say you were from again?
North. I'm.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm from the land of the Norm Kings. From the
cool.
Thaneland specifically.
Don't know where that is. Sounds cool.
It's north. Wouldn't worry about war. One way or another, it'll find you. So, if he plans for it, all the better.
Is there a war I should be prepared for?
There's always a war you should be prepared for. What's
You're
the
sounding a
saying?
bit like Lord Ragnulf. Do you know him?
No,
You sure?
but yeah, it's like the saying: get a plow out by all means, but keep a dagger handy just in case, or a rod in your case, I suppose.
He's gonna look at the rest of you. Is that a saying?
Can I
Not the
recall
rest of
knowledge?
uh, is that truly a saying, Brent, for you? Or is that something you're just
Yeah, I'd
saying
say
on the
so.
fly? Okay.
Yeah, I'd say so. It's something he's heard before.
Yeah, you've heard it before, Click Clock. In that case.
Yes. I think I heard that before in our travels.
Alright, well, maybe I should see if
I'm sorry,
Elsie's
what
got
are
a
we
dagger
talking
for
about?
sale. I don't know. Where you were from? You sound like Lord Ragnulf. Bye?
Ready for war, whatever.
Yeah, I don't want a war. You bringing war?
No, I don't think anybody wants a war.
Is the North attacking?
Brent suddenly looks really confused. It's like, what? No, I don't want
I mean,
nothing to do with no war.
I'm gonna go buy a dagger. Bye.
Don't kill anybody. Well,
What is that
It's a
all
new-
about?
the new path that man is going down. I hope it goes well for him.
Brent will kind of look at everyone like, what was that all about?
You guys are gonna
That's
find that guy
right,
later in this
exactly.
campaign. He's gonna be a recurring character now.
So we're like, I got a dagger and I stabbed a guy and now I feel better.
Yeah. I stabbed a guy
Who's
and now I'm on
stabbing?
the run from the law.
I'm
Who's stabbing
multi-classing
who?
as a rogue.
Are you,
I was a tailor.
are you okay, Brad? You seem lost.
Well, I mean, he was saying a whole lot of nonsense, something about a war and a dagger.
Yes, you said an old saying that I think I've heard before. I can't remember it because Will Robinson was barely paying attention.
Danger. Danger, Will Robinson.
That's me.
Just warning.
I'm a little lost. We was going to the manors, right?
Those centipedes hit you on the head recently. I didn't see that in the fight. You're okay. Would you like me to take a look?
I'm fine. He was talking about the chief around here, right? Ragnolf, that was his name.
Yes.
Yeah,
and-
see if
feel I
his
should have
will have
word-
been making statements that would indicate he knows something dire is happening that the rest of the town did not know about. Definitely worth looking into if we can figure out how to get in there.
Right. Yes.
Speaking of which, Krakow's going to be looking around. Are there any kids? Well, he's not going to restrict it to just kids, but he's very interested in finding out if there are ways up into those hills to where we can get above Stonehold. And I'm sure if there's kids around
know
here,
about
they
the-
know all
Don't we
the
know about
secret paths.
The well entrance. We found out about that one, right?
I'm not swimming upstream underground through a well. If y'all want to
Even
do that
consider-
and then unlock the gate, I'll be happy to stroll in. But swimming is not my forte. Swimming underground in
Is
the
it
water,
shallow?
no.
Perhaps
If it's a
shallow.
well, it's not going to be shallow.
Well, only one way to find out, I'd say. But
Well, first I'd like to speak with some. I'll gather information and look to see if there's got to be. Those kids have to have ways up into those hills to go play.
you can
and
certainly
fun.
attempt to gather information on ways up the cliffs. Because it's
Yeah.
not really hills, these are full cliffs.
Oh, I know, but come on,
waves, well.
kids live there. You don't think they haven't found out?
They stopped
to do
allowing
that?
their kids after the first few fell. Let's be probably fair.
Wait a minute, wait a minute. Clearly, you don't have children of your own.
I am
You don't
26, so no, I
allow-
don't.
You
gotta
don't
find the
allow
rebellious
the kids
kids.
to go up in the hills. They go up in the hills. You can
And
tell them
cliffs.
not to. Oh, you want to do it? They're going up in the hills because it's forbidden.
Yeah, you gotta
It's
find the
just like
rebellious
we're
kids.
going out to Rusthenge.
Go ahead and give me that gather information check.
Yeah.
As you spend a bit of time while, Brend and Click Clock are speaking with this individual about Lord Ragnulf and the religious schism going on, you look around for some of the other people as they are coming back from their day of fishing and ask about up into the cliffs nearby, any safe routes for people, who want to just go exploring. Yeah, I mean, spending this time asking around, there are certainly people that let you know, yeah, there's, here's a couple other areas. Look for this specific tree. Look for, 3 weird areas where grass doesn't grow quite the same color, and those mark like decent starting points up the cliffside that are relatively safe to traverse.
Excellent.
Whether those will directly lead to over Stoneholm might require some exploration of them yourselves, but you at least have starting points to go off of.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, looking at the terrain, if we can get up to that first level of plateau, then we can get over there. But, okay. I thank them. I would offer them a tip, but I have no more money.
I'll offer them money.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'll do it.
Let's go. So where do we want to go?
Yeah. Real quick, just because there was stuff going on with the conversations, Rennig and Ragwin, were there any things you specifically wanted to ask about while the rest of the group were asking around about things? Were you just sort of participating in the conversations that were already happening?
I have nothing.
Okay.
Nothing for me either.
Fantastic. I will say, it's about 5 p.m., 5:10 p.m. by the time you guys finish up these lines of questioning. So you absolutely could go towards Gold's Ruin like you were thinking about. You also know in about 50 odd minutes or so is going to be when it is safe, when low tide really sets in and it becomes possible to travel to Thunderhead Isle, if you guys wanted to ignore the warnings you were given and go check out Rusthenge.
Well, since we've invested 14 gold in this trip.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like we have a pretty definitive way to get into the home at this point if we need to, so may as well check out the other thing.
We're going all the way to Rusthenge.
I'd say so. Why not? We can be a little
Okay.
brave, surely.
All right.
What's the worst that could happen? Think about it.
Yeah, come on.
A lot.
It's only
Stuck there
300.
for
It's only
24 hours.
300 feet from dry land. We can do that. If we have to swim back, it ain't no big deal.
Yeah, says the guy
Sort
who
of.
didn't want to swim up the stream.
But that's in a cave. That's dangerous, you see.
Yeah, because I mean, let's face it, if it's a well, the water is not flowing from the sea into the well. That ain't drinkable water. So if there's a stream that feeds the well and then comes on down, that stream's flowing down to the sea. And I don't want to be swimming upstream against a underground sea. Thank you very much. I'll wait for you at the gate.
All right. Well, what are we doing?
You want
Besides,
to
if
go
we've got
to-
a way into the hills, that's probably our better bet anyway. Yeah, let's go check out Rusthenge.
Yeah, end of the day, sort of. Yeah,
Okay.
get it off the tourist book.
Exactly.
These tourist traps.
And plus, the gate opens, about 6, so we'll have just enough time to get there and hike up our britches.
Okay.
Right, walk through the mud.
All right. Well, we
Oh.
best be quick.
Yes.
Yes. Then you guys make your way around town and sort of outside of the town itself into the open kind of wilderness. It's not terribly overgrown or anything. It's not a difficult journey to make it, as the tide is receding at this point and the ground becomes fully walkable towards Thunderhead Isle. Numerous tide pools and exposed rocks that you have to sort of navigate your way through. Just thankfully, you're walking. It's decently safe, but you recognize trying to take boats through this at not low tide might be slightly dangerous. But, all good. You make your way across to Thunderhead Isle itself. And you can see the majority of the isle is pretty towering cliffs, somewhere between 50 and 100 feet up. But thankfully, this entire sort of eastern area slopes upwards towards a plateau at the top. So it's a hike. It's a potentially slightly tiring hike, as it is late afternoon and your feet are sopping wet still from making your way across, but you do safely get there. Crossing over dry grass and past these old, ugly, stunted trees towards the center of the island. As you approach, you reach this broad, flat field. Southern edge of it dropping away to the waves below, giving you guys, honestly, the most beautiful view of the sea many of you have seen in quite some time. It's absolutely gorgeous. To the north, there's actually a craggy ridge of barren rock that is blocking the view of Iron Harbor. Bit northwest of that, though, is a circle of these 7 jagged spires of rusted metal, each reaching over 50 feet up into the air. As you approach, you notice within this circle of ancient iron are rock formations, 7 of them still, that may have at one point been sculptures, but are now little more than weathered chunks of stone and piles of rubble. And at the center of that is a pit. Specifically, not a circular pit, but a seven-sided pit that seems to drop a few feet as you approach. More interestingly than that, though, is the tent. On the western side, between two of these metal spires, a relatively large canvas tent sits, maybe about 15 by 20 feet, with a sizable wooden crate set next to it. Side open, you can see inside of it straw and some creature. It's hard to tell at this distance what exactly it might be, but there's something there. So as you guys sort of approach the edge of Rusthenge and notice all this,
Detect magic as we approach.
yeah, we will get into that next session.
Hey.
As you guys approach the edge of Rusthenge itself and notice that, something's here. What exactly it might be, though, we will get further into next time.
Who knows?
Thank you all so much for playing today. I do so hope you enjoyed. And I will see you all next week.
All right.
Yeah, great session.
Bye!
Thanks, all. All right. Take care.